friends, we are back to continue the one and only Bob. I'm sorry I wasn't able to record a video for you yesterday. I had a very busy weekend and wasn't able to do it for you, so I am back today. Hopefully you are back to continue reading with me. We are on page 112 and we left off with Bob and Ivan talking about their current situation and where they were both living. Marriage. Ivan and Kenyani are a lot like George and Sarah as far as I can tell. They grumble, they cuddle, they help each other, they tease each other. Sometimes it looks pretty nice. Still and all, when I smell love, I almost always smell worry. Seems like they're tangled together so tightly, they'll never unravel. There's a reason I avoid all that mushy stuff. One big difference I have noticed between the two couples. Ivan and Kenyani enjoy eating bugs off each other. George and Sarah do not. Tiny but tough. Ivan always seems like nothing scares him. Not even Kenyani, who scares the heck out of me. On the outside, I suppose that's how I look too. Tiny but tough. But inside, well, sometimes, no matter how hard I try, I can't find that guy to save my life. It's like he's cowering in some corner of my heart. So he's talking about being tough. He's like, sometimes I can't find that side of me. I hate it when that happens. I hate that I'm not the guy my friends think I am, the guy the world expects. I keep waiting for things to go bad on me, worrying that my nice, tidy little dog life will blow up in my face. I think George is a worrier too. He'll get up in the middle of the night and head to the kitchen sometimes, his old slippers scuffling on the wooden floor. I always hear him, always join him. When he opens the fridge, the light spills out like maple syrup on hot pancakes. Wonderful scents drift my way. Leftover meatloaf, sticky cheese, expired yogurt that someone might as well eat, and it seems like the dog is the safest bet. The smells rain around me, and yeah, my tongue starts hanging out, and I nudge George's PJ leg. You can't sleep either, huh? He'll say. Or maybe, I can't tell if you have insomnia or just a very acute sense of smell. Both, actually. I wait. He usually makes himself a PB&J with banana, which is good with me because the crusts are where you really get fun chew factor going. Now and then, after we eat, we sit on the back porch and George scratches my ears, especially my right ear. It's my favorite. I understand his worry. I think George works so hard. His wife was really sick for a long time, and he loves his daughter so much. Sometimes when Julia climbs on the school bus, I'll watch George watching her. All that caring and concern is painful to smell, especially the briny scent of the stray tear he'll flick aside with the back of his hand like sea spray. More than once, George and I have dozed off together. That's the best kind of snooze if you ask me. Good, warm, safe in someone's arms sleep. Not talking. Often when I'm with Ivan, we don't even bother talking. We just look out of his domain at the green grass and the crazy babies and the swaggering juveniles and the hardworking females, and we think of nothing and everything. When you've been through the worst with someone, you appreciate the best. That's why sometimes when he says, "Hey Bob," it's enough for me to say, "Hey Ivan," and then we just listen to the palm trees rustle and watch the sawgrass sway. That's very nice. They were in that mall for so long that they're just so appreciative of just watching the earth move how it wants to move. Once when we were still in the mall, I told Ivan how brave I thought he was. The way he put up with everything that had happened to him and never stopped being a good guy. Ivan just looked at me, cocked that big old head of his, nodded a bit. "That's not brave, Bob," he said finally. "That's just knowing what I can't change." "I call it brave," I said. "It's called crazy brave." Ivan held a browning banana up in the light like it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen in his whole long gorilla life. I wondered whether he was going to eat it or draw it. You never know with Ivan. "Seems to me there are lots of ways to be brave, Bob," he said. A tiny mouse, name of Eek, skittered across his cage floor. "Hey, Eek," said Ivan. "Just checking for crumbs," she said nervously, because she always sounded nervous. "Dibs on all leftovers," I reminded her. She looked so terrified that I relented. "Over there, behind the tire, old Carrot Top." "Respect, Bob," she said, scampering off. Take a small creature like Eek, said Ivan. He scratched his chin with the end of the banana. He did that when he was in a philosophical mood, which means that he was thinking a lot. Maybe brave for a mouse is different brave for me or for you. He looked at me fondly. You're the bravest dog I know, pal. I ain't brave, I chew on my tail, avoiding his gaze. You are, Bob. Untamed and undaunted, said Ivan, and he chomped off a hunk of banana. He offered the rest to me, but I shook my head. I wasn't feeling hungry. Also, it was mostly just peel. That's just my shtick, my routine, I hesitated. I mean, sure, I'm tough compared to, say, Eek, but that's setting the bar pretty low. You're too hard on yourself sometimes, Bob. I met his eyes. He has 3 dark brown, deep... he doesn't have 3 eyes. I keep stuttering today. He has these dark brown, deep-set eyes, really kind ones. Eyes that make you want to admit things, confess to your failures. Once when I was little, just a pup, I did something. Ivan waited patiently. Ivan is the king of patience. She's telling us an old story here. I felt myself dashing into a dead-end tunnel I couldn't escape. I didn't want to go there, not even with Ivan. Never mind, I yawned. I do that when I'm anxious. I'm rambling. Bob, Ivan said, you okay? You know me, Ivan. I'm always okay. Always. I slipped away before he could ask me anything more. So there must be a time in Bob's life where he did something as a puppy that wasn't very brave, but we haven't yet to hear the story, but it must be something important if he's even hesitant to tell Ivan about it. Ruby. Uncle Bob! Ruby races over, galump, 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 across the broad field that's part of the elephant domain. She's so cute when she runs, like she's determined not to trip over her trunk. Ruby adores me. I make her laugh. I read the room. I lighten the mood. I gotta admit, I am kind of adorable. When I'm with Ivan, I think, pal, we've been through a lot, you and me. We are survivors. And when I'm with little Ruby, I think, girl, look at you. Hard luck passed, and here you are, so much happier, so loved. Ruby, like Ivan, was plucked from Africa as a baby. She ended up in a circus that went bankrupt, then got shipped off to Mac's Mall. Ruby was taken in by dear old Stella. When Stella passed away, Ivan stepped into play. Well, elephant dad, I guess. I did my part too. Not because I felt like I had to. It just made life easier. Elephant toddlers are a handful. You think humans are bad? Try putting a 200-pound baby elephant in timeout. Excuse me. So that really shows that Bob kind of looks at Ruby as like a little sister or as a daughter. He kind of is like a father figure to her and tried to really help Ivan when they had to raise her at the mall. Ruby's family. Little Ruby seems so much more content at the park, surrounded by her new herd. Old and young and in between, they spoil that adorable baby like you wouldn't believe. She deserves every minute of it. Kid had a rough start. Seems elephants hang out in packs of females. Now that she's at the park, Ruby has adoptive sisters and aunts and grandmothers galore. In the wild, the elephant guys head off, and once they're old enough, they do their own thing. Sometimes I lose track of who's who among the elephants, because they're always talking, taking mud baths, scrambling their smells. By the way, what kind of animal actually likes baths? Mud? Sure. Ivan's art. How's it going, girl? I call to Ruby as she stops near the moat edging the wall. I had cantaloupe for breakfast, Uncle Bob, and it was yummy. And then I took a mud bath. She pauses to take a breath. Do you want to hear a new dog riddle, Uncle Bob? Of course I do, I say, and I catch Ivan's amused glances. What kind of dog is always on time? Asks Ruby. You got me, Ruby. I'm totally baffled, befuddled, bewildered. What kind of dog? A watchdog, Ruby exclaims. Watchdog? Get it, Uncle Bob? Not bad, Ruby. Not bad at all, I say. Ivan says it's going to rain buckets, said Ruby. She dips her trunk into the moat and blows bubbles. I think Ivan is onto something there. Did he show you his new picture? Ruby asks. She grabs a tuft of grass and tosses it into the air. I wish I could see it, but I can't because of all that silly wall, but he told me all about it. My pal Ivan is quite the artist, just like Julia. Ivan sits up and nods toward a spot on the wall. Another mud mural? I ask. As any good dog knows, dirt plus water equals mud. And mud means mess, and mess means let's roll in this stuff and maybe dig a hole or 2 or 10. But for Ivan, mud plus a flat surface equals a waiting canvas. I crane my neck, edging a bit farther down top of the wall. Don't want to draw attention to myself. Hey, nice, I say. I mean, I'm not an art guy. To me, art is a glop of sprayed cheese on a cheese dog with extra grated cheese on top. Still, I've always admired Ivan's work. Ivan begins. No, I say, don't tell me. Let me guess. You always guess wrong, Ivan says. Not always. You thought my palm tree was a dandelion. Art is in the eye of the beholder, I say. You thought my blackberries were giant ants. Kenyani ambles up to join the conversation. And need I remind you that you thought his portrait of me was a chimpanzee with gas? The resemblance was striking, I say. Kenyani glares at me. She glares at me a lot. We're going to stop there. That's on page 128. If you are following along, make sure you head to our Flipgrid to answer some questions. I really want to know what you think that Ivan painted, because honestly at this point I don't know, but I'm hoping it's easily interpreted by Bob.